Selling out is easy to do. It's not so hard to find a buyer for you. When money talks, you're under its spell. Ah, but what do you have when there's nothing left to sell?
Hey, everybody. It is Finding My Audience with Alan Strickland Williams. You are the audience. I am Alan Strickland Williams. It is July 12th. It is 74 degrees. It was a little cloudy when I woke up, and it looks like the sun is tearing through. It's been a minute. Thank you to my Patreons. Gotta thank my real ones up top. We got the $1 now. You can do $1. I'm trying to think exactly of how to set that up and what to do. I mean, it's really all kind of depends on how much of a routine I get in with this thing. This month, I'll talk about this month, but or this kind of past month, because I think the last one came out basically a month ago. It's been really busy. I've been good. I hope you're doing. I mean, everything's crazy. It's like everything's so nuts and just. Like truly despicable times, Daffy Duck times, Looney Tunes times. But I've just been busy. I've been doing a pretty good job recently of keeping things in balance and being sort of like, here's what I have to do, here's what I want to do, here's what I need to do, and kind of acting accordingly. Probably know there might be a correlation between the fact that I feel like I'm doing good and the fact that I've also exercised and got sun. And I don't know if I've meditated every day in July, but if I haven't, I think I've only missed one day. Now, again, it's July 12th. Not a big deal. Also, haven't meditated yet today. It could all stop today. You know? It could be over.
Gotta keep them separated.
That's not what I thought it was. I thought it was the...
God damn it!
I thought it was the God damn it. But that's okay. Excuse me. This is going to be a just sort of catch up episode. Going to sort of go over some things that have happened both in the world and my life since I think the last podcast posted maybe June 7th, something like that. So anyway, I'm glad I had the time. What did I do today? I just got back from the Genius store. I just got back from the Apple store. We're kind of praying right now because my computer has been doing this thing where the trackpad just doesn't work. And, this is not an old computer. It's not a brand new computer, but it's not old. Still under Apple Care. And they're sort of like, because it kind of fixes itself, but then it comes back again. But they're like, well, it seems fine. Just keep an eye on it. So I'm on keep an eye on it mode with my computer right now. It's always something, it just always is something, but that's okay. Because you know what? You're something too. And sometimes to get through some things, you just got to be someone. Isn't that nice?
Not great, Bob.
It's not great. So what happened? Oh, I asked on the last episode, I put out a story today, but no one really got to it. I kind of am like, it's up right now, react right now. I'm going to delete it. But I wanted to know what you're looking for out of this summer, but just using one word. I've got 2 voicemails I'll play for a minute. I will say that and it's funny, someone that voicemailed, I was texting with them earlier this week, and they were like, things have changed so much since the beginning of summer that they would change their answer. But for now, we're going to go with what we got. And I'll talk more about that stuff later, but here we go. Let's see. This is our first voicemail. Let's see what it is. Here we go.
Hey, Alan. I hope that this summer my cats get along. Thanks.
Okay. That's not exactly one word, but cats get along. That's a phrase. I like one phrase. Use as many words as you need, I guess, but I just was trying to keep the voicemail short. I hope your cats get along too. That's just something that's so foreign to me in my life that I'm having a hard time even sort of knowing how to react to it at all. Because I mean, cats. I guess we had cats growing up, but they did always kind of seem to get along. The only cat that we had that was ornery was Tripod. Tripod was basically Tripod was a stray that at the time my girlfriend, and then a couple months later my ex-girlfriend, she was like from a family of vets, so they were always very like, you know, they're always like animals around. There's like, maybe they were moving animals, I don't know. But at some point, she came across this cat. It had like a little, like its arm was like this. It's like it had an arm, but it was all like really little. Tripod, naturally, and he was like one of those orange cats, and he was just, I mean, this guy. Tripod, you did not want to get on the wrong side of Tripod. So Tripod was essentially feral. So Tripod would just like hiss at you and like guard parts of the stairs, and you, especially when I would come home and visit, it would have no idea who I was anymore, and I forgot about the creature existing. So I'm just going up like a stair or walking down a hall, and just out of nowhere, this cat would attack me like it used to, and I was like, oh my god. So anyway, there's sort of this metaphorical thing going on with it being like a remnant of from the sex, but who I'm friends with, who's fine, good people. But the cat was just so bad that it was crazy, and like it would eventually it got to the point where like it would be around my dad, because my dad would just hang out like in the room that it liked to hang out in a lot, and they kind of had this sort of like understanding, I guess you'd say. But it's been a couple years now since Tripod passed, but because we had Shasta and Frisky growing up. Shasta was like one of those Maine Coons with like the long hair. Oh, I always felt so bad for Shasta in the Florida heat. And then we had Frisky, who was just like a little sort of black and gray, like smaller cat, younger. Shasta was like my boy. Shasta was like maybe a week older or a week younger than me, something like that. And Shasta, actually, this is kind of sad, but Shasta, when he started to like go, I mean, that cat lived to a long time, because I was not a senior, but I must have been in junior high. So the cat lived probably I was probably 15, something like that, 16. And maybe it was older than me. Maybe it was Sparky. We had this other cat named Sparky, but Sparky eventually got ran over by my grandma. That's the saddest Christmas novelty song. But Shasta, when he started to go, first like his hair started to kind of go, and it's like, oh, and we could tell he was getting really skinny. And then he, for whatever reason, he just chose my bathroom as like the place where he wanted to die. And he would and you know how cats like hate water and stuff. This cat would get in the corner of the shower and just not move when I would take a shower. So he was either dying and in a bad way, or I guess near the end, he just let his freak flag fly. Let his freak flag.
Talk to me, baby.
Let his freak flag fly. That's what he would do. So I hope your cats are getting along. Hey, update me. Hey, guess what? We have the phone number right here for the viewers. Look, 323-457-0032. Again, that's 323-457-0032. You know what? Keep calling in with that. It doesn't have to be one word if that scares you or something, but keep calling in what you're trying to get out of this summer, because if I keep things sort of under wraps, I'm thinking now, I'm like, I know work is gonna be so horrendous. Summer's always horrendous, and we're really in the thick of it now. We've got like over the next week and a half, or the next 2 weeks, we have like not even joking at all, like 8 or like 7 or 8 like big things due. A lot of moving parts, so that will be a struggle. But like I said, hey, I'm doing dry July so far. Again, it's only the 12th, but we're doing dry July. I think we'll be able to keep that going. And that obviously opens up a little bit more time. And you know, I gotta say, I think a lot of it's the Wellbutrin too. It really is. It's helping me with focusing. That's funny. It really is helping me with focusing, though. I'm getting more of this stuff done. Like, this is kind of why I got back into therapy, maybe over a year ago now. but I was having these intense focus issues. I've talked about them so much on here, I won't talk about them again or go into detail. But I just was having these intense focus issues, not getting a lot of stuff done that I wanted to get done, and now not getting everything done. Things are not perfect, but things are a lot better. I'm getting things off the old checklist, which is an amazing feeling that can propel you to do a lot of things. So like today, when I had, I have a couple of hours between the Genius Bar and great comic friend of the show who hasn't been on yet because no one has. Babs Gray, great comedian. Babs Gray, check out Babs Gray. She's so funny. Babs is so funny. Babs is one of the girls that freed Britney with Tess Barker, friends of the pod. But Babs is having her birthday with MK Paulson, also a really good comic. Check these guys out. MK Paulson, Babs Gray. Check them out. I'm going to their birthday later, but I had some time. I was like, let's just do a kind of talking episode, try not to prep too much beyond the voicemails because, and also too, it's like, I don't know, I think this looks okay, but I never do the podcast really during the day. Or if I have, I haven't since I got more of a professional setup with lights and stuff. I'm not using the lights right now. I kind of like it. And it was very easier to just be like, let's get in, let's do this. The fucking, how long have we been recording? 12 minutes. All right. I don't care. The Rode Procaster has been doing great. I can't believe all it needed was a power cord this whole time. It cost me like $20. But it's kind of staying set up nicely and everything. So I didn't have to do that much, which was nice, which makes it very easy because I do get, pretty much suicidal when one little thing goes wrong. That's something about me. That makes getting through the day kind of tough, but we're having a great time. Oh, guys, let's kick off with this. Great. This happened. I got this just the other day. I'm sure I've complained about my landlord on this podcast. Famously, this room flooded, and had mold for a long time, and they were just dragging their ass on doing anything about it. Every step of the way, I had to fight them on everything. I had to get a mold test. I had to get a mold guy to come here. I had to talk to the city. They were like, because this guy wants me to move. And instead of doing what you normally do, which is like pay someone out to have them move, he's just being a total. I mean, this guy really. I probably shouldn't say it, but if there was anyone I was ever going to say I get some terrible news and my life is going to be over or something, this guy's going with me. I'll be sure of that. And you know what? I'm not joking. I guess I'm joking. But anyway, so I had this moment. So then basically that's like and there's so many other things too. One which is pertaining to what happened. But there, literally with every person that lives in this building, there's a million of these types of things. He's just a total POS. He inherited the building. So that's the thing too. Like all of this is upside. He's always complaining about not getting the money he should be out of this place and blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, sell it. Like, anyway, I defeated him. Because what happened was the washer and dryer here were really old. They would break all the time. The dryer eventually broke, and he was not fixing it. He didn't fix it for something like 3 months or something. And we've all had it, up to here with this guy. So we really researched on what we could do, and because we're rent stabilized, thank God. The fact that we've voted against the rent control and all this stuff. People are monsters. People are monsters. Don't deserve to be alive. Can I say that? Is that too incendiary? These people are scum of the earth. We had to look at the city, so we found that since you're rent stabilized, there's these things called reduction of services. And so because the laundry was part of living here, and that's the other thing too. Like I couldn't use this room for like a year. This guy owes me, I don't know. This guy owes me probably a month's rent. Probably a month's rent or maybe a month's rent and a half, if I'm being very conservative. So anyway, he's not doing anything about this dryer. So we reach out of the city, and there's a thing where it's like, if you're rent stabilized and you're having issues with this, there's these things like appliances. They basically like refrigerator, whatever, dishwasher, whatever. These all have like different sort of like numerical values where if you had them and then they are taken away or not repaired or whatever, you can make a move to get that prorated money back. Right. And I think it took, so like the thing went out in, I think August. I think he finally installed a new washer and dryer the day after Christmas. And then what he also did was, it used to be like $1.50, $1.25 to do washer or dryer. Now it's like $4.50 and $4. So it's $8. So it's basically $9 to do a load of laundry now. So I've been going to the laundromat, and I'm going to get one of those little single things I can get. But he finally puts this new dishwasher in. We all sort of file different things with the city because everyone has a different thing. I do the laundry thing, and they rule in my favor. $104.12, I believe. And even that, and they send like a pretty like severe, like, this is your final warning. If you don't do anything about it, we're gonna something about, not the DA, but some sort of legal action is on the table, something to that effect. This guy's a lawyer, by the way. And that was the other thing too. He's very much like, he's accusing the reason why he didn't want to put it in the dryer was because he was like, I'm not making enough money on the stuff. And he kept threatening to produce an affidavit proving this. Never came up. Lawyer can't produce an affidavit. Not great.
Not great, Bob.
Not great. But anyway, finally, and then I had to hound them. I think I called them 5-6 times to finally get them to acknowledge that they got this letter and what are we going to do about it. I'm literally just like, I'll take it out of my rent. Like, you guys don't have to cut a check. I'll take it out of my rent. No, they want to cut a check. So anyway, yesterday I get the check. Fantastic. Honestly, maybe the happiest the check has ever made me that I've gotten in the mail. And it's definitely not the high. I mean, well, I'm not trying to, whatever. I've had more important checks come my way, but this, especially right now, and damn it, I've kept the fucking number up this whole time. But anyway, I get the check. I'm super happy. Let me just get it for you. He had to sign it. Oh, I love that he had to sign it. But this is the best part. He included, like, how like the check comes and it's like, I don't want to, but there's like, sort of two parts of it. You tear it off. On the bottom part, which is, I guess, is the memo, he left me a little message. And I think I have a picture of this I can throw on, but I'll also just read it. I am impressed you used free wash for 6 months or more and want to collect from me good moral values. I mean, I laughed so hard. I smiled so big. I texted back and I said, please tell Jerry, thank you for the message. I'm going to get it framed. I am going to frame this. The frame is already on its way. Some little notes. His handwriting is neater than I thought it would be, but still bad. And he made a mistake with collect, and then he kind of, made it, fixed it, I guess. So he got collect right on the second try, which, that's really one of his main jobs, and he can't spell it or get it right. It's kind of interesting. But God, I mean, my whole theory about this guy is that he's, got addicted to blow in the 80s and never stopped because his energy, I mean, obviously attitude like this, energy is always awful, very erratic and very all over the place. I think I've told the story about how he saw my neon signs one time and he's like, oh, I love neon, but I had a girl over and I told her not to touch it and she touched it. And this is the last thing he says as he walks out of my apartment. He goes, stupid girl. I'm like, okay, good job for you. You had a hooker over at your apartment and she broke your neon sign. So anyway, great. I mean, that really put me in such a great mood. You know what? Let me put the phone number up real fast again. 323-457-0032. Have you ever defeated your landlord? Share the story with me. What do we got? Okay, then I went home. Okay, so here's the thing. Oh, I didn't bring it, but I went home to Florida. I went to see. I saw Vampire Weekend again. I think that's the. I think I saw it 4 times. Last time I saw them at Just Like Heaven, and then I saw them for the I think the 6th and final time of this tour so far. But they were playing in my hometown. Jacksonville never gets anything, and I'm like, Jacksonville's not a Vampire Weekend crowd. So tickets were super cheap. Good tickets were super cheap. And it's like, I can go see people and there's the beach and everything. So I do that. I take some days off work. This trip, the show was great. Got some time on the beach. Really out of any trip, what I try to get to is like maybe 3 moments where I kind of realize I'm not worried about anything or thinking about anything that's coming up. If I can get a couple of those, great. And this was a short trip, so a couple of those, great. Basically a great trip, right? Well, let me tell you this. Fly to Burbank. Burbank's supposed to be great, right? I'm worried the Shine is leaving Burbank. The garage, that you can't pre-book parking anymore, which is a bummer. So I had to do the valet, which is fine. It was a short trip. It's only $28, but it's like not that crazy expensive, and it is convenient. But I'm like, I wasn't planning on this as an extra, like maybe it'll come out to be like an extra $50 I don't want to spend. So I'm a little like, already. But then I go in, and then there's more people than normal. The security line is really long. There's a TSA line. There's usually never even really a non-TSA or pre-check line. So I'm like, oh no, are we about to lose Burbank? I mean, I guess, I've kind of got a system for LAX now. It doesn't totally terrify, it doesn't frustrate me anymore. But Burbank, they're having this issue. So I go up, people are boarding, or no, it's right before people are boarding, and they're on the PA. They're explaining there's a weight issue with the plane, which, did you know that most planes are actually morbidly obese? There's a weight issue with the plane, the cargo, something like that. And they're like, we need like 7-8 volunteers. I think they were giving away like $600-$700. And some people volunteered and went. And I kind of was thinking, I was like, I don't have to get there right now. I can go tomorrow. But if I can, I'd like to, make my flight. Excuse me. But I'm just sort of like, okay, fine, we'll get there. And, I have a tight connection, but we're delayed, but we're going to be, from now it's going to be okay. As we're boarding, they realize like instantly when like the first person gets on the plane, they're like, oh, the weight issue hasn't been solved. So then they ask for more volunteers. And I go, eventually I go over there, but then they have enough. So then I get back and I board the plane. Then we're on the plane, and it's like, when I say we, it's like they've whittled down 30 people so far, or however many. So it's like really spread out. And then they come back on the plane. They say we need like 11 people to get off. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to miss my connecting flight in Atlanta. I have people in Atlanta. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I'm like, I'd rather just be here than have to deal with that, right? So I get the thing, and it's kind of interesting being in that position because I don't, I'm not as stressed. People are like crying. Like people are like, I'm going to lose my job and like, blah, blah. And I'm just kind of like, I live here. I took the time off. So anyway, I did that. I go home. I'm like, fine. And it kind of worked out because work was super busy. So I didn't take that day off work. So I went home and I worked, and then I had the next days off through the end of the week, but it was so busy that I was like, if you guys really need me, hit me up. I can work. So I ended up working, taking away a vacation day on this trip. Again, concert was good. Good to see the folks. Had a really good time with them, and had a great time with the concert. The concert that was also funny about the concert was it's funny going to a lot of stuff alone because you can kind of do really whatever you want in the moment, whenever, and you don't have to feel any sort of badness about that or consult with anyone or anything. And so I was like down on the floor of the show. Oh my God. Also, there was I took a lot of videos. Maybe I'll try to squeeze these in if I can, although I don't know if they would get copyright. But check out this band called The Turn. Is it The Turnstiles or Turnstiles? It's funny because there's that band Turnstile, but Turnstiles, it's a studio album by Billy Joel. It is like the premier Billy Joel cover band. And it was awesome. The guy that was like Billy, like shouted out the catering backstage, and I guess these guys open for Vampire Weekend when like they do Madison Square Garden, and they were doing the Florida shows for some reason, and it was awesome. It was just like these old guys, and they were just rocking, and like there's like a saxophone player with like a fedora, and he was just like wailing, and it was like awesome. It was weird because it was like the sun was still out at this point. It wasn't a daytime show, but it was like 7 p.m. And then, just all the I think Billy Joel is one of our, I don't know how many, there's 6 or 7 or 8, but there's like these sort of geographical, American singer-songwriters. I mean, he's more than that, I guess. Singer-songwriter, you think like a guy playing hacky sack. But he's like Long Island, right? And like, you got like Jersey, you got Bruce, you got Tom Petty, Florida, I guess you could say California too. You got Mellencamp, you got Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like, I'm like, these guys are associated very closely with geographical places of which they sing about, etc. But so it was really fun. They had a good time, and it was just sort of funny to like, and then also it's funny too, like, cause you watch that and you watch other people do someone else's material, songs. It's like, wow, that's really interesting. It's like the fact that Piano Man got everybody in that, it was an amphitheater, whatever, outdoors. Everyone was singing to Piano Man. Like that's incredible. Like that is really just such a feat of, artistic endeavor. I mean, and also if you want to tell me that song sucks, I'm like, I understand. It's like, what's a real estate novel? I get it. But I don't know, especially if you're a little drunk and it's like, come on, man, it's Piano Man. Just like, let's play us a song. So that was interesting. Oh, but the thing about the show was great. They played New York, which they don't play too much, and Ezra plays the sax. Great, very cool, great show. Saw the Dancing Man again. Their guitar tech does this dancing thing in what is that song? Classical, from the new album. Only God Was Above Us. But there were just some like kids, 25 or whatever, like group of guys, and they were just like concert drunk. Whether it's like, I don't know if they were probably there to hear when, and I've done this. You go to a concert and you want to see like basically 2 songs, or 2 songs or whatever. But they were just all wasted, and like they just like, when people just have no sense of spatial awareness. And so it was nice because I could just kind of move back, but still also kind of like watch them, because it was kind of, I love people watching and just watching people kind of like act a fool. But at some point, it's like they did get asked to like chill or whatever, because they were just bumping into too many people. And I think at some point one of the guys was throwing up, maybe a little bit, because it didn't really smell that bad. But anyway, that was great. But here's what else happens. I do the thing. I work a little bit thing with Burbank Airport. I get back. I'm feeling a little kind of like, oh, I got allergies or whatever. I get back. I had COVID, and it was not COVID. The other times I had COVID, I think that was my 3rd time or 2nd. Did I think I had it? No, anyway, 2nd, 3rd time. The other times I had it, it was awful for like 48 hours. And then it was fine. Then I was just waiting to test positive. This was not as bad as one of those 2 days, but it was spread out longer. Or maybe actually between testing, it took less time, but it was more like, at first it was like the throat thing was real. I thought I was getting strep throat or something. And then it's all in my like sinus head, and then it's my nose. And so it moved around. It was a weird one. So then basically it's like I come back, got COVID. There's nothing like getting sick from a vacation to make you really just know that God is not real. Like why would she Let that. Oh, this is also funny. I went and saw. I woke up really early one day, and there's an AMC 20. Is it a 25 now? AMC 24. It was built in like 6th, 7th grade when I lived there at the Orange Park Mall, and I was like, I woke up really early. I was like, I don't have anything to do. The parents were doing something, so I was like, let me go see a movie in the movie theater where I did a lot of hand stuff back in high school. And Materialist was playing. I wanted to see Materialist. I like Celine's song. I kind of understand the critiques of it, especially with this one. This one was like people critiquing Past Lives, I think it was called. I'm like, that's like a really good movie, measured well. This does have a lot of things about like maybe romantic. It's not really a comedy. There's some funny moments, but like there was actually some really funny moments. I laughed a lot. But I'm like, guys, don't you see? We have Woody Allen without the baggage now. Like that's how you look at this. But she's funny. She like one of her big things that she first did was like she did a play. She did Chekhov, but like using Sims, like somehow like Sims had something to do with Chekhov. And then like in the movie, one of the characters is an actor and he's doing one of her plays in the movie. I'm like, I like that. I'm sorry. I like that. So anyway, there's that. And then, you know, it's interesting. Every time you go to Florida, and especially this was the time like ICE had just rolled out in LA. So there were the protests, like, you know, the ones downtown that were a little more rioty or whatever you want to say. Which really they weren't. I mean, really, like I was watching live streams of this stuff. I'm like, these people are such like fucking tough guys. They're tough guys, but they're all cowards. It's just crazy. Especially, let me say this. You're looking for illegal immigrants. I don't consider them that, but you know, you're looking for illegals in Southern California. Wow. Tough. Real hard. Deporting fish in a barrel. Take that shit to Abilene, you know? Well, I mean, don't do it, but it's just, it's just fucking, it is, I don't know, I'm trying to stay positive. But everyone in Florida, like, oh, you must be so glad to be out of LA, and like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to come to Florida and check on the deplorables, you know, see how everybody's doing. And people are always like, oh, but, you know, you got all those taxes in California and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they're like, we don't have those taxes in Florida. People are always like people in Florida and Georgia and Arizona is like, oh, you know, we don't have state income tax. And I was like, well, I don't really mind state income tax because I guess if you don't pay a state income tax, you have to live in a place like Georgia, Arizona, or Florida. So I don't mind. that. Let's see. Let's roll into this. Shout out to my millennials right now. This goes out to anyone who's ever freak danced to a Yin Yang Twins song. I'm losing my mind with all this stuff, with primarily the bombing the Middle East and the ZOHRAN Mamdani reactions. Bombing the Middle East, I remember seeing like footage of like when they started showing a lot of footage of like Israel and Tehran or Tel Aviv, Tehran. I was like, oh, I remember on Fox News when they showed the beginning of literally like the salvo of the Iraq war, shock and awe, what they called it. But it's just, it's like, okay, so yes, they literally just took the cue, made it the end. Okay, now we're going after Iran, who's now the big boogeyman for some reason. All of which the Middle East in general is like totally destabilized because of Western influence, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. But what was I trying to get at? The way that they justified it preemptively, and they used to call this preemptive strikes. I'm not seeing that word so much anymore. I think BB might have used that a little bit. But back in my day, they lied to us and said that the enemy had WMDs. Now they're being wishy-washy. They're 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Like, what are we even doing here? They're 2 weeks. They're a fortnight away. It's just like what, and then even now they're saying like, oh, we set them back years. It's like you're just keeping this existential threat alive to use it when you need it, which is exactly what Iraq was. So I'm kind of losing my mind because of that. And then also it's just like everyone just is repeating, parroting, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Iran can't have nuclear weapons. Okay, they can't have nuclear weapons. They can't have one. They can't have one. They can't make their own one. Like, really, they can't have one? Look at the other countries that have them. They can't have one. And then we're like, oh, we're the arbiter of all this stuff. We're the only country that has ever dropped nuclear weapons on another country. And we didn't drop one. We dropped two. So get that crap out of my face. So stupid. All made up to instill this fear to keep us, or to keep the people that are suckers and fall for it all tied up in this stuff. The idea of the idea of that being how it's just laughable. It's just laughable. But that's this kind of the thing. And this is my thing with COVID too. And like going back to the office, we learn nothing. We just learn nothing. We want to snap back to like ways that it was and ways maybe it never really was, but ways we wish it was. We want to snap back to that. It's just like, guys, grow up. We're talking about, and then so Zohran, we're talking about like they're making Zohran Obama. They're just saying he's like an African immigrant, Muslim, blah, blah, blah. This is exactly what they said about Barack Hussein Obama. And this has got me so mad, just the reaction to it. Also, it's funny too. And like someone clearly wins something and then it's like, guys, he won. Like you can even say this about Trump. He won. Like this is the direction things are going. Yes, you can fight against it, but it's like he won. Like you have to accept this as reality. Zohran won. And I mean, have you, I wish I had prepped more because Eric Adams is putting out some of the dumbest, best campaign material you could ever hope for, which is really kind of all you can do with him at this point. He did one where he's like the video, it's like him calling someone, he's got an important message to make, and then it's cutting to footage from like an Usher video where Usher's on the phone and kind of be like, oh, that's crazy, oh, awesome. And like he's talking about some concert series or something. And it's like, I guess this is all you can really do with this guy. Cause not a dig, or I guess it is a dig, but it's like Eric Adams, he seems like the way he talks, he seems slow. He seems simple. Like I don't think there's a lot going on there. Not a smart man, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Dems try to like, are they going to just coalesce around him? Like the establishment, whatever you want to say. But it feels like, unless they might just try to do something awful, but I'm so over all that stuff too, that it's just like the anti-Muslim thing is like, just because 9/11 happened there, a Muslim can't be like, people are just literally saying like a Muslim can't be president or mayor of New York. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's got me to the point where I'm like, Grok, how do I join the global intifada? What is it? First, what is it? How do I join it? And everyone about the Zohran and 9/11 and Zohran 9/11. It's like, okay, he's not going to do 9. Like that's not what's going to happen for one thing. Also, those guys were all Saudis. They were like all Saudis. It was a Saudi thing. They're trying to make it Iraq and Iran. It's just total bullshit. So they're saying, oh, he's going to do 9/11, but he's not. He wouldn't. He's not that guy. That's an insane racist thing to say. But it would be funny if he did. It would be so funny if right away, like he's in front of City Hall, they're giving him the key to the city. News is covering it. It's like, oh, there's some protesters and supporters out here, and Zohran is accepting the oath to be mayor of New York City, and it looks like he's getting in a cab. Probably gonna tour this great city. He did that walk around the Manhattan, so he's probably gonna take a cab around and look and say, oh no, he's actually going to LaGuardia Airport. Well, mayor of New York, got to deal with that. Maybe he's gonna talk about some infrastructure at LaGuardia. Oh, he looks like he's getting on a plane. And he's in the cockpit. Maybe, you know what? Maybe he wants to go on a flight. Look at Manhattan and New York City, all the boroughs from above. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. We're seeing it. He's lifting off. His term is lifting off. That's amazing. Wow, look at him go up in the air. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, no, is he had it? I mean, it would just, obviously be tragic, but I wish more people got what they deserved. I just wish more people got with it. And you know what? It's funny. This is me in a great mood. Anyway, but yeah, it's driving me crazy with this. Talking about socialism and communism. This is a 100-year-old thing. This is a 100-year-old fear that pretty much every fear did not matter. What did we do? We murdered the Rosenbergs. They were spies. Okay. Well, the Soviet Empire, it fell completely apart with basically not a lot of influence from the Western world. It was its own, probably what's going to happen to our empire when we really do finally implode. Just complete, trying too hard to expand, and trying too hard to keep everything the way it is. Sound like anybody we know? President land grab that we're dealing with right now. But anyway. Yeah, I'm just over it. And I don't know how we break out of this thing where it's just I'm like, how do you not feel like a sucker? You're talking about communism? Dude. Shut up. I was also busy this, we had SNL submissions, and it's funny because it's like, I know no one's going to read this stuff. But I wrote some good ones. You have to do, this is some little inside baseball. When you submit, you have to do a commercial parody. You have to do a sort of pop culture or political thing. And then one more that can be whatever. So I kind of did okay, I'll do the political one I did was called Bomb Buddies. And it's basically Trump is at the Oval Office. He's finding out about how the bombs went. That's the other thing too. What the bombs didn't even work. The bunker busters, they're a total bust. Whatever. Because they had enough time to move. I mean, I think the bombs were, but they had enough time to move the uranium because this was all whatever. Anyway, it's so orchestrated. I'm sure in a way Iran is getting. It behooves them as well to be in this sort of everlasting back and forth. But so I did. So basically it's W. Bush, Will Ferrell comes back, and they sort of talk about Iran and Iraq and that sort of thing. What was the other one I did? Oh, the commercial parody was pretty simple. Well, I mean, it was crazy, but the basic thing was it was a commercial for a double-sided sponge where both sides are the side that actually works. And it's just devolves into madness. And then the other one was Straight Men's Carrie Coon Appreciation Society, which was starts off it's maybe Illuminati or what are the Masons, and then it's it's just these guys that are obsessed with Carrie Coon. Some good stuff in there. I don't know when we'll read it. It's also funny too. It's you do a submission stand-up tape or whatever, and it's you send the two of them on a YouTube unlinked, unlisted thing, and I'm no one's watching. You could literally see that no views, or there's no one's watching this. That's the way it is, but I like to try because it keeps me sharp. And honestly, if we're also being honest, the writing is the most enjoyable thing to me. Me figuring it out. I don't really need to see it realized. That'd be cool. I would rather just be hey, here you go. Someone else make this. But that's not the way it works. Basically, if you're, I don't want to get into that, but people that are connected get these opportunities. That's fine. What else we got? 4th of July. I didn't do anything. And not even really as a political statement or anything like that. I really wasn't invited to anything, at least with my crew. Not a lot going on. So I took the day. I just enjoyed the day off. Didn't do anything. Really enjoyed it. I heard you get another. The other thing too is you hear the fireworks. So what I did do on July 4th was when I started to hear fireworks, that's when I went to the Silver Lake Meadow and put up. Oh, I don't have one with me, but I put up the dogs will be shot sign. Too many dogs in Silver Lake Meadow. There's dog parks. Dogs aren't supposed to be in the meadow. So I put it up in the dead of night or 9 p.m. or something like that. And it was so funny too, because I was I can't see anything. So it's I'm trying to do these little zip ties. I'm I can't see. but I got it up. Very, very happy to finally do that. And it was funny too, because while I'm putting it up, even in the middle of the night, someone with a dog comes and walk, like the dog's like in my face right there. I'm just like, I want to just fucking, but I did it. I posted about it, Alan Strickland Williams on Instagram. You can find it. And I basically was like, oh my God, have you seen this? But I was gonna go because I put up this one sign. There's a lot of signs that say no signs allowed. So I made one that said, okay, some signs allowed. I put that one up. That one stayed up for about like 2 weeks, maybe a little longer. But this was, I think basically 48 hours or less, someone took it down, which makes me happy because that means people saw it. And people don't care, but I still need to post the clip about me doing the bit when I hold up the sign. But anyway, so 4th of July, I didn't do anything. I did that. That weekend recently, I had the Tomorrow Show. Guys, if you live in LA, go to the Tomorrow Show. Ron Lynch, who's in home movies. He shows up in a lot of stuff. Really funny guy. Variety show. The theme of this one was called 5 Minutes or Die. So everyone does 5 minutes and then it's lights out. And I did, usually I go up and I say, I'm going to tell you this many jokes. This time I went up and I said, I'm going to tell you as many jokes as I can in 5 minutes. And then I just sort of like had a list of all my one-liners and just barreled through them as fast as possible. It was really fun. It actually was like exhausting too, which is kind of funny. I'm like, geez, I'm like exercising and that's still exhausting. Why? Probably because I was just like adrenaline up. But go to the Tomorrow Show. It's at the Elysian. Now it's been all over. This show's been going for like 20 years. It's great. I'm sure the price point's fine. It's midnight on Saturday. So yeah, maybe if you're younger, it's a little bit easier. I will say there's always a point. Because usually it used to be like, oh, I got to do the Tomorrow Show because you already started getting drunk Saturday at like 8 or 9 p.m. And then that kind of works for it because then, a lot of people had that was the vibe, and a lot of people in the crowd. I remember I used to go to this show as an audience member before I really even was thinking about doing comedy. And it was just like the thing was you'd bring like a 6-pack and you just sit and like because the show used to be super long. It's not super long anymore. They have to close it at least 1:30 or 2 or whatever. I think 1:30. But it would go to like 3 a.m. sometimes, like crazy. Super fun, special. But it was just fun. It was just fun to be part of it and see the acts. They had like a sort of mentalist, psychic, magician, character stuff, some stand up, just really good. Go to the Tomorrow Show. Talked about ICE. Got to get out. Awful, just awful, shameful. Put that up. Less to daytime. Oh, I've been going on my walks. It's been great. I really the more I could do that, the happier I always am. And I've been kind of like getting a tan. I've been like going to the meadow and laying out. And I was thinking about tanning is really just microdosing self-immolation. Like I'm not a vain layabout. I am making a statement. Okay. That's my story. And the other thing, this is the last thing, I'll close out on this. I don't know if there's anything here, but I was just laughing so hard because I was listening to Black Sabbath, on my walk. I like to listen to like metal or like punk or whatever, rock a lot especially when I'm like starting my because sometimes it's like you just want the kick, and then like I kind of go to whatever. But I was like I want to listen to some Black Sabbath albums, so I did that, and it was just so funny because I had this realization where it's like metal is so and I guess Black Sabbath also has like, I don't know if there's probably a more perfect descriptor for Black Sabbath than metal, but maybe it's probably black metal or something like that, or proto black metal or something. But it's just funny how a lot of that music does boil down to like, I'm scared. It's like it's about a guy who's like scared and people look at him weird. But it's like the heaviest music. I was laughing about myself. We just really went on this one, huh? Oh, 50 minutes. Wow, look at us. Gonna try to stay in gear, get more out, do some maybe a less topical one next. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Again, the number, do whatever you want with the number 323-457-0032. Let me know what's up. But yeah, thanks. Join the Patreon or don't. It's really fine. I've got my core. And you know what? Stay positive. Stay as positive as you can. Do what you need to do to stay positive. It's awful out there, but that doesn't mean you have to be. All right. See you in the funny papers.